Libratress YouTube channel. In today's class, we'll be learning how to make this beautiful keyhole back neckline. Okay, so for this tutorial I used a mesh fabric and an Ankara fabric, so it's a skin tone mesh. That is why the color is not so obvious. So as we can see, if this is what you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so this is the neckline we are trying to create. You can see that it is a regular boat neckline, but with a big keyhole effect at the center back. Okay, so this design is at the center back and we're going to be recreating that. So to do this now, I already have my center back drafted, as you can see, and this space that we're looking at here is my zipper allowance. Okay, so this is my zipper allowance and this is my actual center back with my dart. So if you don't know how to draft a center back, a basic bodice, I already have that tutorial on the channel. So now the modification we're going to be doing to this center back, like I said, the neckline that we have on this design is a boat neckline. As you can see, we can see that it is wide, and the neckline we have on our basic bodice pattern is the regular 3 inches by 3 inches neckline. So we're going to be changing this neckline to a boat neckline like we have in the top. So to create my boat neckline, I normally take the measurement that I have in my shoulder, what I have left on my shoulder, and then I'm going to be dividing that into 2. So I'm just simply folding my tape roll because I like my boat neckline to be a bit wide. Okay, so instead of this, if you don't want it like this, you can just take like 4 inches from your center back. You are not going to be including your zipper allowance. So from here you can just take 4 inches. You can see I just have around 4 3/4. So this is fine. So if you don't want it this way, you can do 4 inches. And then we have 1 inch as the depth. I'm also going to be increasing the depth to 2 inches, between 2 inches to 3 inches. So you can just use 2.5 inches. And once I have that, I'm going to need to redraw my neckline. So using my curved ruler, I'm going to be redrawing my neckline like this. Okay, so after redrawing the neckline, I'm going to be reshaping my armhole also, because the armhole that I have here is getting to my shoulder point here. Okay, but we can see that this is just because this is a sleeveless, it's not going to be standing on the shoulder bone where you take your normal shoulder measurement, which is one shoulder bone to the other. So I'm just going to be going inwards a bit. So to create that, from the tip of my shoulder here, I'm going to be going inwards by 1/2 inch or 1 inch. You can see the strap that I have. So depending on what you're comfortable with, I'm just going to be going by 3/4 inch, which is here. And then from there, I'm going to redraw my armhole. Okay, so I'll just place the curve where it is perfect, and then I'm going to be redrawing the armhole. Okay, so those are the few modifications I need to do before drawing out my shape. And also I'm going to be using a 2 fabric for this. You can see a 2 fabric is a C2 fabric, this normal mesh that we use for our skin tone. So on that fabric, I'm not going to be taking a dart, okay, because it's not going to be looking nice. So if you're using a thicker fabric, maybe a velvet or Ankara fabric to create this, you may want to leave your dart. So for me now, the dart is not necessary. I don't need this because the fabric is going to be stretchy and it will clinch to the body easily. So the 1 inch dart that I have here, you can just take it here in full, or you just share it. So I'll be taking 1/2 inch from this side and then 1/2 inch from my side. Okay, and then I'm going to be connecting that to my armhole, and then here also I'll connect that to my chest line where my dart stops. You can see where the dart stops here. So the 1 inch dart that I have here, I've shared it. So my allowance now includes all this that I'll be chopping off. So this dart now has been shared into half inch to make up the 1 inch dart that I took. So now to create this design on my chest line, depending on how open you want it to be on the back. Okay, so on my chest line there, I'm going to be taking 2 inches, and remember this is on fold. So by the time I open it up, these 2 inches will become 4 inches, which is okay for me. So on my chest line here, just for me to have it as a reference point, I'm going to be going inwards by 2 inches, which is this. Okay, so after going inwards by 2 inches, I'm going to take my curve, and then on this big part of the curve, I'm just going to be placing that where my neckline stops, and then I'm going to match it to my 2 inches there, and then back to the down part where my zipper allowance stops. I hope you understand. So I'm matching these 3 points, 1, 2 and 3 together using my curve. So I'm just going to place the curve on it like that, and then I'll find the place where the 3 points match. So once I have that point, I'm going to be drawing my curve. Okay, so this is the curve that we have at the back, and like I said, this is 2 inches on fold, and by the time we open it up, we're going to be having a open space of 4 inches. If you want more, you can go higher. So that is all I need to do. The next thing now is for me to cut this out. So I'm cutting out my both neckline first, and then I'll cut out my new reshaped armhole. Okay, then I can finally cut off my pattern. So this is going off because we are going to be using an hook. I'm not going to be using a zipper at the zipper area. We don't need it. But if you want to maybe put a button, if you're not going to be using a net, because a button will not be nice on a net, if you're going to be putting a button, you can just extend this a bit so that you have something that will lap on each other, and then you're trying to blend this together like this. Okay, so we don't need that here, so I'm just going to be chopping this off. Okay, so once I cut this off now, this is what this is looking like. This is the shape that this is going to give me. Okay, so like I said, if you are not okay with this shape, you can easily extend it. If this is too small for you, for example, you just need to put them together again, and then you extend that curve. Okay, so on the waistline here, if you wish to do any modification like what we are seeing here now, it looks like this is like a slight V shape. So if you want this effect, you can create it on your bodies before you cut it on your fabric. And if you want it flat like what we have there, you're just going to be leaving it flat. Okay, so if you want to create like this slight effect that we have at your center front here, at your side front here, remember it is deep at the center, and then it just goes that in a slanting form to the side. So at the side here, you can just go upwards by 1 inch. Okay, so you can just go upward by 1 inch here, and then you take the slightly curved part of your ruler, and then you connect it to the hemline like this. This is totally optional. It depends on what you want to achieve. So if that is the design you are looking to get, you just take them together now, and then you slash this place off. Okay, so now if you're okay with your pattern, you can see that our pattern is a bit slanted now. So if you're okay with this pattern, you just need to put them together, and this is what you're going to be having. Okay, we can see the shape that we have. So if this shape is fine for you, like I said, this is going to be around 4 inches. So we can see, you can see that this is exactly 4 inches because we took 2 inches on fold. So if you're okay with 4 inches, you go with this. If you want it more or less, you just have to adjust them accordingly. So now I'm going to be cutting this on my fabric, and then I'm going to be cutting my Ankara strip to tape this part and also the armhole part. So if you want to cut your Ankara, it is advisable that you cut it on bias. Okay, so what I mean by bias is if you have your Ankara like this, so you just need to fold this like a triangle. Okay, then you measure whatever it is that you want to use as your strip. So when you cut it on bias like this, it allows the Ankara to bend easily as against cutting it on straight form, because remember we are going to be adding this to curved part. So I've cut out my Ankara now, and I have these strips of Ankara, and they are around 1.5 inches in width, and I'll be using that to turn this place on my neckline. Okay, so I've cut it on my fabric now, but because this is an illusion mesh, we may not be be able to see it easily. So now I'm going to be sewing this now on my illusion. I'll sew it here, then I'll use this to turn it out both on the back part and also on the armhole. Then I'll bring it back so that we can see what we have. Okay, so this is done now. This is our back bodice with our open keyhole turned with this Ankara fabric, so you can embellish this with whatever you want. And so this is the boat neckline. This is the tiny strap. Remember, we went in by 3/4 of an inch from the tip of our shoulder. So this is the tiny strap that we have there, and this is the armhole, and this here is our original pattern. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you enjoyed this, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.